right. Hello, and welcome to Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan. I've got some news, and then we got a bunch of questing we're going to do today. We've got an interlude, and then the new chapter 8 of the Song of Waves and Wind. We also have new instances and a whole lot more because we've had a very busy week in the world of the Lord of the Rings Online, and we got a lot happening in the next week as well. Next week is PAX East. I'll be seeing some of you in person a week from today. And that's really cool. That's going to be at the Harpoon Brewery in Boston near the PAX East Convention Center. RSVPs are still available. You can find out more information on lotra.com. Just be aware, at this point, we're on what's called a waiting list. That means that we're actually at capacity in terms of the venue, and you'll probably be able to get in, no problem. But at this point, we're on a waiting list. So theoretically, if like everyone shows up at the same time, you might have to wait in a line until someone leaves. That's what that means at this point. But that probably won't happen. It'll probably be fine if you want to RSVP. But do it today if you're going to attend our community meetup with us, Dungeons & Dragons Online, EverQuest, and EverQuest 2 at PAX East. So that's 1 week from today. Actually, 1 week from yesterday. Sorry, Thursday, March 21st. I will have met some of you by this point next week. What day is it? Okay, yeah, so next Thursday, 7 to 11 p.m. is when that is. So, my shirt says, powered by pizza. This is a true statement. That's all that is. The thing about the waves at the start of the show here today was just me trying to do something a little bit different. We always use the spinny ring, but I had these cool videos for Update 39, so I thought I would just give that a shot and see how it went. And I kind of like the environmental audio effects that were going on as well. All right, so let me get to a little bit of news, and then, like I say, we'll be doing a little bit of questing here in just a bit. So, this week, we released Update 39, Arenas of Conflict. This includes a whole bunch of content related to Corsairs of Umbar. We have 2 new 3-person instances, a 6-person instance, and a new raid. We also have 71 new delvings, and we have Chapter 8 of the Song of Waves and Wind, and we even have, let me get to that in the notes, 6 new quests in the Angle of Methythel. You can even find those quests by speaking to Evoreth along the road west of Tom Lumrun. But we have a bunch of stuff here in Update 39, and as you see, we've got a lot of release notes that I don't think we're going to be reading on the air here, but you can definitely want to check these notes out before you head in game with Update 39, because we've got a bunch of cool new stuff. And we'll be running through the instances here on the live stream. I also want to do the raid. I don't know if I'm going to do a show next week. I'm either going to do a show next week or I'm not. I haven't decided yet. But within the next couple of weeks, I want to actually do the raid on the live stream. And I'm kind of thinking to myself how I want to approach it. There's a part of me that feels, let's just do, like, put a thing up on the forums and get 12 people and do it that way. And then there's also a thought that maybe some of the raiding kins might want to just have me tag along for a show. So either way, we'll do something in the next couple of weeks. And we might even run one of the instances today, although I do have some other stuff that we're going to run because we have Chapter 8 of the Song of Waves and Wind. But this is all available right now. And that's not the only thing either. I mean, like I said, we've got a ton of stuff in here, but we also have the Spring Festival back. And that's through April 1st, getting shut off at 3 a.m. Eastern on the 2nd. So, I showed this off last week, but let's just kind of show them again here. One last look at these items in case you haven't seen them. This is the back of the new garments, and the front is right here. I think it's a really nice looking spring outfit. And then we even got a really kind article in Massively related to our Tome of the Perfect Curl Garden Snail. It is real cute. So we have a new garden snail that you can get. And there's a steed here. And then this is actually an item not related to the snail directly. But let me... What happened? Here we go. The Tasty Herb Patch. There's a snail in the picture, but the Tasty Herb Patch is the herbs there in this screenshot. Anyway, that's all happening. So the Spring Festival's here. Update 39 has arrived. We're working on a patch for next Wednesday. It's going to have some polish and bug fixes in it. I don't have the notes that I could share with you today. I'll be doing that work, I think, this afternoon to put together kind of a draft of the notes as our changes are coming in right now. So it's a little bit too early to be able to share next week's release notes with you, but we do have a patch set for next week that'll have, I don't know, probably up to a couple of dozen bug fixes and things like that. So that's what we got going on. The other bit I would mention is that we have a skirmish mark boost. This goes through the 17th, gets shut off at the 18th at 3 a.m. Eastern. It's a 25% skirmish mark boost. Also, working on for next week, we're going to be updating the loot boxes, and Myrtle Mint will arrive, and some of the new loot box stuff will be with Myrtle Mint. Per usual, but that's happening next week. There's actually some screenshots being taken of the items today, and I'm working on an article for next week, similar to the one we released last November, that details what's in the new loot boxes, what's with Myrtle Mint, what isn't. And that'll be available next week, probably latter half of next week, is the goal on that. It's coming in a little hot, but we're getting it done, and it'll be ready for next week. So that's really the news that I think I've got for you. Oh, we do have our Determine Your Discount sale as well, just real quick to mention before I get in game. This is through March 21st. There you can get 15% off any 5 items, 20% off any 3 items, and 30% off any 1 item with a coupon code DISCOUNT30, DISCOUNT20, and DISCOUNT15. I understand there's still some confusion with the way that the sale works a little bit. So one of the things I'm going to be doing, probably after PAX East here, let's be real, just because I got a lot on my plate, is to get an article out about that, Determine Your Discount sale, so that for future sales we'll have something we can point to. I can't show off, it's not appropriate for me to show off really the store in game, but you just go in game, apply the coupon code, and then you'll check it for which item or items that you want to use associate with it. And that's ultimately how it works. Now, I did do it from CareGen, and it didn't show up initially in CareGen until I re-logged in, and that's due to the way that I think store loads upon initial load-in of CareGen, so then anything after would need to be refreshed. But once you go in-game, it also showed up. So, I would just say, in general, apply the coupon on the character you want to get the item with, and just do it in one go. Alright, so we are in game. But that's cool though. It's up to a 30% really determine your discount of anything you want, and that's through March 21st. So. And I'm looking at our calendar real quick before I completely shut the screens down here. Let's see. Next week as well, the Umbar raid goes to Tier 3, and the instances will go to Tier 5. That's also happening on the 21st. I should mention that as well. Alright. Real quick, before I get too far along in game, let me go and get chat. Nothing I can say, Purple Shadow, about updating for 4K support to the UI. We know that that's a feature you'd love us to do, and hopefully at some point we'll be able to do it. No, LJ Bookworm. I am not familiar with any change in the cloaks from the Red Maid Festival instance. I will have to look into that. Write that one down real quick. I'll try to follow up this afternoon if I can. I don't know whether it was just a missing release note or something else. It's true, Martin. I'm not hiding this fact that I do in fact have a fairly hefty Lotro point balance that might in part be due to the fact that I am in fact one of the people who were able to make codes for Lotro points. And so I'm testing. That's what's happening. It's all about testing. You told me you wouldn't. Alright. Any chance Bjornings can have emotes for bear form? Probably not. I think that would involve having to create animations for all those emotes, specifically for that edge case. And as awesome as that would be, I just don't think... I think we have other priorities that are needed from our animators that would probably have to deprioritize it to the point it's just not likely anytime soon. Sorry. We'll write that down also, Juan Fenor. I'm not sure what the answer to that is. Okay. Let's get to it. Actually, before I speak to K-Bar, I wanted to do the interlude here.
Your mission has concluded, and I am pleased it has ended happily. In the space before your adventures continue, my friend, I would ask to take one more journey with you.
All right. I'm pretty excited. This has been fun. I got my character up to level 150 over this past week. I don't know what I was when last we met on Friday, but it wasn't 150, and now it is. I did a few missions of the new Umbar missions, but I also just did a bunch of mostly Allegiance-style questing. I really just clicked on quest rings and did stuff inside of Umbar, and pretty quickly shot up to 150 in terms of XP. So I'm now 150, meaning I can run the new instances in time for launch. I knew you would one day climb this hill and come again to Lanark. I saw it in the Pool of the King only weeks after my daughter departed, following the dream that carried her away to fight another kingdom's war. She returned with a broken heart and a child, and I thought you would return in the company of this man, this Horn, who was the father of the child. But no. Huh. Let's speak to Nona. Doesn't know if it's a son or daughter. Cannot bring herself to return to the soothsayer's cave. Gleowine spoke of our deeds, and no Horn was avenged. I would have become Wadu's ghost once more and done it myself. But you can see I am somewhat occupied, so I thank you, and I know Horn does as well, and so does his child. I assume Orion SSG, you were actually Orion. Oh, I mean, I know you are actually Orion, but I assume you're answering the question from which I was going to write down and follow up with you afterwards, which is why the Gondorian armor, quote, disappeared from the moors with the release of U38. So we are basically getting Nona up to speed as to the events that have taken place in Umbar. Oh, nice.
And so we sat and spoke together, all of us, late into the night. In time, it seemed as if Horn himself shared our fire.
Nice. So that was the interlude. And, let's definitely get the mic cloak. And now, let's start with Chapter 8.1. The boy Thorngil has been saved, but there is still a loose thread in the tapestry of the evil that brought him and all of us to Umbar. One look at his mother's face reveals it. No sum of gold or silver could make me dare to cross her, but the kindred of the coin has done so, and she has not forgotten. What does Lady Nariel plan to do next?
Half of the job is done, my friend, but the other half remains, and its name is justice.
3 members of the Kindred of the Coin fled deeper into the Citadel of Winds when my son was rescued. They will not escape. We need to return to the Citadel and pursue them. Azagath, Belendor, and Nakasi will pay for endangering my son. Speak to me when we're ready to go. Yup. Let's do
These
that.
foes will not escape us. We will pursue them into their very stronghold.
So, Patty
son
McGinty, I
Thorongil
would
has
say
been
that I have
rescued,
personally
but the
found
kindred of the coin
the
will still be
Corsairs of
made to
Umbar
answer for his
story to be
capture.
pretty long. It depends, I think, in part as to how much of the story you want to pursue, because there are a couple of points in the story where you are sort of assembling a group and then going on the mission, and there's a certain number that maybe you need to acquaint yourself with and do their stuff in order to progress, but then there's also like a whole other half that you don't necessarily have to pursue, but which you might want to. And so if you really want to get all the pieces in and do all of Corsairs of Umbar, I'd say it's a pretty lengthy story, and it'll take you all across King's Gondor, into the Shield Isles, into Umbar itself, and beyond, as we're now seeing. So I'd say it's quite a bit. I work for the company though as well, so trust other people's opinions if you want to. But I think there's quite a bit of story in Corsairs of Umbar to go check out. It was enough to take me, it was like almost 147 by the time I was done, I think. I think it was something like that. And that was without doing even a single, like, landscape quest or anything. Doom upon us?
Do you serve Azagoth Sea Shadow and his kind? If not, you have nothing to fear from me.
She speaks not of you, Gondorian. She speaks of the terrible spirits that rose from the fountain.
That would be the River Maidens, I believe, right? When we aided you, we didn't think you intended to bring Gondorian sorcery to bear against the Kindred. We fled when the Corsair made your presence known to Azagoth. But from the far side of the hall, we witnessed the terrible creatures that rose from the fountain. Where are they? Do you plan to unleash them upon the city? Nope. The Five Sisters would not have harmed either her or her friends in any way. And now that Thorngil has been rescued, they won't trouble the folk of the city. That is a comfort, but something yet confuses me. If these water spirits answered to the call of Gondor, why were they dressed in Umbari garb? To my eye, they were dressed as nobles of the city, and Enot told me the same. I say, the Five Sisters didn't appear that way to me, and she furrows her brow. For one thing to appear many ways is not unusual in these times. The Kindred of the Coin seemed to be one thing to us, yet Azagoth's words of late have cast another light upon it. A light fell and sickly.
This is the way Azagoth fled. Deeper into the citadel. We will open the door for you.
You have our thanks, but I must ask this of you. Why do you help us to reach your master?
His warriors are willing to die for him. I am not. Nor am I. The Kindred of the Coins saved Umbar from the Empire of Ordak. But I think there was a disease within the Kindred, rotting it from the inside. Cut out the disease and heal the body.
Are you prepared? Yes. Once we pass through the door, we must let none keep us from finding the treacherous leader of the Kindred of the Coins. Others of your crew will follow behind to keep Azagoth from circling around and escaping. Now let us fight! Yup. That is something I am able to do. So far, one of the biggest updates to me with Update 39 is this number born for combat skill. I could have sworn it was not this color prior to Update 39. It was a different color entirely, wasn't it? At the very least, it was not as the icon got changed somewhere along the line. And that, I don't think I caught that during preview. So now I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is that weird new icon? And I'm like, oh right, it's the thing. It has me using it more. It draws my eye. The corridor to the southeast descends a long flight of stairs. Azagoth and his allies have gone that way. I think there is also I think a very plentiful amount of landscape questing in King's Gondor. There's a ton of it, and there's also quite a bit in Umbar too. Because I hit 150 doing just some of it, and I just scratched the surface really on all that was available. But we'll be doing more of that in the coming weeks. You know, we've got actually quite a bit of cool content to check out. Not only do we have this cool stuff today, but we got the instances, we got the raid, we've got the delvings and missions that we can do. We've got tons of, like I say, landscape questing and Allegiance-style questing and things. So there's actually quite a bit of content to be checking out here in the next couple of months. I don't have a good feeling about this. That door leads outside. They've escaped, basically. Or have they?
Have they escaped us? You there, what did you see?
I beg you, have mercy on me and my fellows. We had no choice. Nikasi Wave Reaper threatened to skin us alive if we didn't help them cast off with utmost haste. There was a terrible light in her eyes, and I think she would have done it. Bellandor's crew is fiercely loyal, and they manned the oars without argument. Even when Azagoth told them their destination, they didn't balk at it. Okay, so, where are they going? Across the water, stranger. They made for the Temple of the All-Seeing. They made for the Makta Corbo.
The Makta Corbo? What do they hope to find there?
Sandwiches. I bet.
Azagoth has not escaped my justice. He has only delayed it.
Even as the water builds in power behind the dam that blocks the river, so will the strength of my vengeance increase for every day he remains unpunished. Wow. That's a statement. He will regret his flight, but what evils might he find buried beneath the Makta Corbo?
The people of the city believe the Makta Corbo was destroyed. We should travel by land to the outskirts of the temple.
And learn if the fleeing members of the Kindred have disturbed the ruin. And maybe they seek only escape, but if evils of Sauron do remain beneath the structure, we can't risk Azagoth coming into possession of it. My brother and I will accompany you. Northwest of the city. Okay. So... yeah, up here. Okay. Oh, the sketch of Nona's love to the housing decoration. Very nice. Very cool. How cool is that? That's cool. I mean, if I ever do need to, like, issue a vow of revenge, I hope my vow is half as cool as that. That's all I'm saying. I mean, that's right up there with the guy from, that one movie. I have special skills. I will find you. I will kill you. Yes, Liam Neeson and Taken. There you go. Oops. Wrong way. Do I plan to go for version 2? I don't know what you mean by that. I'm sorry. Alright, here we go. Now, I think we can go either direction here, but why don't I go... Which would be cooler? Why don't I go along the road to the south here? That'll be fun. See the pretty atmosphere and such. Yes, isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? I like it. Oh, well... I don't know. I kind of just sort of go along for the ride here on the show in terms of what I end up doing. I will probably try to keep everyone together and do everything for the epic, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not necessarily stuck on that if something doesn't work out. Let me take care of this little ghostly problem. Man, I got even arms are crawling on the ground to attack me. Alright. When you know you've gone the wrong way. Oops. There we go. So, I mean, things could be bad, but at least you don't have detached crawling arms attacking us every time we go outside. Just saying. Oop, here's where I'm supposed to be. Okay. Okay.
I have never seen this place before.
When Nicasia and Tathata sailed their ships back to Umbar with me and Thorngil aboard, they docked at their hidden harbor south of the city. I'd only heard talk of Mokta Corbo and not seen it until today. The structure itself is not as damaged as I had thought. It's not difficult to believe the levels below ground may have survived the great quake that followed Sauron's fall. And this is what we're looking at.
There was evil beneath Dol Guldur, and even today, each of my senses are attuned to it.
I feel the presence of Sauron's works here, even as I did in those dark dungeons. It's not as strong here as it was in the Room of Voices, but my senses are troubled. Bring me some relics from the dead that walk near the temple. Let me see if I can figure things out. Okay. That we can do. Let me get back to chat here. A Baron statue to go with your Luthien statue. That would be awesome. I don't know. I would have to ask someone who knew a little bit more about what opportunity might be available to us there before I really wanted to comment on something like that. But assuming that it wasn't an issue, that seems like something that would make a lot of sense. So. Gemstones from Spectres or Dark Waters. Alright, I haven't seen any of them yet. I don't think. See a lot of horrors, but I'm not seeing the specters, other than that one earlier. What got someone's asking in chat, what got you into Lochero? Oops. Oops. Uh-oh. Bug. Or got you into Lord of the Rings? I think for me, to be honest, it was probably when I was a child. I had the opportunity to see part of the Rankin Bass Hobbit cartoon. And shortly thereafter, I read The Hobbit and really enjoyed it. And then shortly thereafter, I read the trilogy. Well, maybe within about a year or two after I read the trilogy. And that I've said a whole bunch. I'm not going to repeat myself here about my story of min-maxing Book It. So I'm really looking for specters at this point. Oh, there's one down there. Somewhere as a child, I had picked up a library copy of The Hobbit that had a really nice sort of cloth green exterior. I don't know if it was something that was like a library binding or what the deal was with it. But I always really liked it. Now, at some point in my young adulthood, I got rid of the book, thinking, well, I can always just get The Hobbit again, because I don't know, for whatever reason, I needed to clear out stuff. I always regretted it. I want that book back. I wish I knew. I've tried to look up which edition it was. I think it was an edition missing its actual outer cover. But the inside was like I say, it was kind of a green clothy thing with black artwork and kind of bands across it. And I always really loved that book. It was one of my favorite books as a kid. Like, in terms of visual aesthetics, I always loved that book. And I really regret getting rid of it. And I'm too far away from the whites. Alright. Timing-wise, I would have picked it up sometime in the early 80s. So it would have been I think it was a 70s edition. And that's about all I know, unfortunately. Other than I could tell you what it looks like if I saw it. Okay, I need one more of the specters, and I need to go actually pick up the weapons here. There we go. Oh, there's the weapons. Excellent. These must still just kind of be around here-ish, huh? Yeah, it wasn't leather bound. That much I know. Although I know someone was also talking in chat about having a really nice leather bound edition, and that's great. There's some wonderful editions of the Lord of the Rings over the years. There's so many, in fact, that I bet there are people with a library of really wonderful editions. But that's a good thing. That's awesome. So, at least I think that's awesome. I actually just, my current copy right now is I picked up the relatively most recent one-book version from the big retailer in the world of late. I can actually grab it here real quick. Fine, I'll take you out too. Even though I don't have to, and you give me no benefit. That's what you get for messing with me. Alright. There we go. This is the current version of Lord of the Rings that I have on my shelf, and I quite like it. It's the nice one book version. It wasn't even that expensive. It was from Amazon. Yeah. I thought it was great.
Did you recover the items I requested?
She looks up at me after examining the blades. They're rusty from the salt of the sea breeze and unsuitable for use. Only the dead would wield these. The gemstones are interesting. When they're found within the earth, they're usually quite clear, but the gems of which these spirits and specters form are cloudy instead. See the shapes that swirl within their foggy depths? Most peculiar. And on the finger bones, I mean, I mean, let's be real, you hacked off, I mean, you gave me a bunch of fingers, dude. No, I do not need you to drag an entire white here, as I threatened before. I've learned this, and it may be enough. These whites were given motion by spirits of evil. I mean, I don't know that I needed to hack off a bunch of fingers to tell you that, but there we are. There must be a great number of such creatures still within the Mach de Corbeau, though Sauron himself be gone.
An Umbari woman has been watching us from down the hill to the east.
Okay, so let us speak to the person down the hill to the east.
What purpose brought the three of you to the ruined temple?
I have seen elves of the oasis from time to time when I have gone to the markets of the city to sell my wares. But your companions do not seem to hail from across the desert. I judge they came from across the bay, perhaps from Gondor? I remain silent. Worry not, stranger, I'm no follower of the Church of the All-Seeing, and I steer clear from that temple, as should all goodly folk. Not long ago I witnessed Azagoth and some of his people disembark their ship in the cove beneath the hill, and I wondered what madness drew them inside. Pestilence and plague have troubled Kutra in recent days, and something is spoiling the fish. After we've halted whatever evil drew me and Azagoth to the Mach de Corbeau, we should return to me, and I'll tell you more about it. But for now, let your companions know where Azagath and his allies debarked their ship. They possessed an evil intent, I am certain. Okay. Yep, after the show, we do have the Tolkien professor is going to be on. It looks like Phil in chat has just said that, yep, we're going to be on time here. We'll be wrapping things up in about 10 minutes. Yep. Love those school libraries with their glued-in fold-out maps on the inside cover. That's wonderful.
What said our distant onlooker?
There is a library near where I live that is, the whole system's kind of getting rid of overdue fines. I think that that's becoming a library trend in 2024, where just sort of physical books are getting rid of overdue fines as people are moving to digital and things like that. But they're doing it a special way where they're getting rid of all of your late fees at the local public library if you bring in a picture of a cat, or draw a picture of a cat, or show them a picture of your cat. And I think that that's pretty great. So. Alright, so we have now essentially led ourselves up to the raid, which is...
My sister's thoughts dwell upon the evils that might lie within the Mahda Korbo. I do not know which it will be.
So let's find out what people are saying about Azagath. The upper ward. Does that mean we're going back to Umbar? It does. Alright. I don't have late fees. What? Are you do not besmirch my character by saying I'm the kind of person who would not return a library book on time. I mean, there was that one... No, that's... I lost a book one time. It was one of the Isaac Asimov trilogy novels, and I had to go to the local public library and admit that not only was I not returning the book, but I was never going to return the book. Because I had lost it permanently. And thus, to my great shame, I must admit that I have lost a library book. I've deprived knowledge from the world. And I had to pay him like 20 bucks to get a new copy. So I think it's really just a matter of, in the same way that kind of Blockbuster Video that did that back in the day. I think they're just at a point where they realize most people are just going to return them on time. And if you never return it, then you can be held liable. So they don't need to do little late fees and all that. Although I always kind of saw it, I never actually minded the few times that, the few frequent times that I had late fees at the local public library, mostly for not returning videotapes on time, would be... I always saw it as kind of a nice thing, though. It was like me financially supporting the library. Because I mean, I suppose you could just cut a check to the library, but I haven't. I don't typically do that. And so I guess I just sort of figured my every now and then $1.50 to $5 late fees or whatever just was my contribution to the cause. The Kindred have ruled us well and fairly since the war ended, and neither the heirs of Castamere nor the Empire of Ordok could have done better. I've heard some troubling rumors there was fighting in the Citadel not long ago. I hope those responsible will be apprehended. I hear there was fell magic involved. It is said a great beast with 5 heads emerged from a column of water and shook the Citadel to its foundation. I also heard each of the 5 heads bore a woman's countenance, and the beauty of each was matched only by her ferocity. This is a land where surprising things can happen. I wasn't there, and neither were you. Yeah, I was. I believe the beast lives, unless Azagoth has already slain it. Oh yes, I always rewound my videotapes. I'm a nerd. I had a video rewinder, are you kidding me? One of those VHS rewind boxes you had plugged into the corner in your living room.
Large sum of money.
I've come into a sum of money. Or rather, I will, just as soon as I collect upon a daring wager I made. How do I feel about the Kindred? I think they're doing a good job. They saved us from the rule of the Empire of Ordok and the Church of the All-Seeing, after all. If the Kindred were not in power, I would not feel comfortable telling you about my winnings in Dahal Hulis, for fear the Church would take it. I do not think any of the Kindred would do so. If you return to me when you have a moment, I might have some work for you. I cannot be too careful with such a large sum at stake. Oops. Alright, and then our third is where? Over there. Okay. Is probably going to be about where we wrap things
What
up.
do I think of the Kindred, the coins?
It's a difficult question.
This is a difficult question for me to answer, friends.
It's true they've promised a return to peace and an increase in prosperity. But they also promised to heed the will of the people and hear their concerns. But the meeting hall of Darlaja remains shut. Where once I saw Azagoth and the others of the Kindred walking through the city, that has happened less of late. Where are Tathata and her mighty hounds? Where's Tumuldo and his wife? The only leader of the Kindred I see with any regularity is the dwarf Koltek. I don't like the look in his eye. He's plotting something. But for my part, I believe the Kindred has our best interests in mind. Truthfully, I would feel more at ease if they reopened Darlaja and kept their promise. Alright. Well, we are going to wrap that up here then. And thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings on twitch.tv/LotraStream. This show gets archived on YouTube afterwards. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do a show next week. PAX East will be going on, and I will have had a very busy night the night prior for the community meetup. And I've got things I'm doing on Friday related to PAX as well. So if I'm down at the convention, I won't be doing a live stream. But if I'm not, then maybe I will. Either way, when next we meet, we'll be continuing more of the story here. We also have the new instances to run and the raid to run in the coming weeks, in addition to a bunch more Update 39 content. So thanks for being a part of it. Hope you enjoy our Skirmish Mark weekend. Take advantage of that, determine your discount sale, and check out the Spring Festival, as well as the stuff here with Corsairs of Umbar. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll talk to you all again soon. Bye-bye.